When your focus is blocked, it's like you have 50 tabs open on your web browser. Some of them are frozen, some of them are playing music on tabs you can't find, and every time you try to close a tab, 3 more pop up. Your brain is like a computer and your focus works like a hard drive. When your mind is scattered, it starts to lag and it eventually crashes. And this is why half-finished projects start to pile up, deadlines slip, and no matter how hard you work, it feels like you're stuck on a treadmill going nowhere. This not only drains your energy, it limits your performance, kills momentum, and crushes your motivation. And if you're anything like me, you've tried it all before. You've read all the productivity books, you've built new habits and routines, you've taken supplements and nootropics, you've set a strict diet and exercise regime, you've dabbled with sleep tracking, meditation, breath work, ice baths, saunas, yoga. You've tried time blocking and every system under the sun to boost your focus and productivity. But no matter what you do, in the not too distant future, you are once again pulled in 100 different directions. Your to-do list piles up 3 times faster than you can check things off. And although you're busy, you're not gaining any real traction on the things that really matter. And when the workday is done, you can't switch off because you're so frustrated and so unsatisfied with what you've accomplished that instead of winding down and being present in other areas of your life, your mind is racing and you're obsessing over all the things that you didn't finish that day and all the things that are waiting for you tomorrow and the next day. Now, if you're nodding your head like I just read a page out of your journal, then you have a focus problem. Now, it doesn't matter whether you have ADHD or not. What matters is whether you're experiencing any of these symptoms and whether these symptoms are making your life harder than it needs to be. What you may be experiencing is a temporary condition called VAST, which mimics the same symptoms as ADHD. Now, VAST stands for Variable Attention Stimulus Trait, and it's caused by chronic cognitive overload. And the cause of this cognitive overload is because you are now living in an ADHD world, a world where everything is designed to hijack your focus and overload your brain with distractions. Your poor, helpless lizard brain is so overstimulated and so flooded with dopamine that it's been rewired to crave distraction instead of deep focus. And the reason why your toolbox of focus and productivity hacks only lasts a few weeks before you slip back into chaos is because these habits, these routines, and these systems all rely on 3 things: discipline, willpower, and future reward. And these 3 things require you to hold the discipline stick and dangle the carrot of motivation. And it requires that you obey your own commands. In other words, it requires elite level executive function. But because you either have ADHD or your phone has turned you into a dopamine junkie, your executive function is completely fucked. You don't stand a chance against the army of companies spending billions of dollars trying to steal your attention every single day. You are fighting a losing battle. So if you want to win this war and unlock deep, effortless focus, you need to drop the stick and carrot and adopt a new operating system that works with the way you are wired rather than against it. Instead of forcing yourself to focus in a world that is designed to overload your brain with distractions, you need to design every aspect of your life to harness your true nature and leverage your unique cognitive wiring. Now, if you want to unlock consistent deep focus, there are 2 steps you need to take. The first step is to reduce your cognitive load. Now, your prefrontal cortex is the region of the brain that is responsible for planning, decision-making, and problem-solving. But it's also responsible for overthinking, and that leads to analysis paralysis and decision fatigue. When this region of the brain is overloaded or overstimulated, it pulls you out of the present moment. It fractures your focus and blocks you from entering a flow state. This is why removing your other blockers will radically improve your focus without having to protect it from distraction. Because when you lack clarity, your focus defaults to what feels easy and familiar or urgent, rather than the things that actually move the needle towards your goals. When aspects of your life are out of alignment, you burn energy focusing on the things that drain you rather than energize you. And when your mindset is working against you, you become stuck in a loop of overanalyzing and talking yourself out of action. Remember, your brain is like a computer. When too many programs are running at once, it slows down and begins to malfunction. When you remove these blockers, you free up huge amounts of mental energy for deep focus. And this is where most people go wrong. They skip this first step and they jump straight to trying to force focus with their toolbox of focus hacks. which is why your focus continuously slips back into chaos. But when you reduce your cognitive load first, these same tools transform into rocket fuel. Now, the second step is to stimulate your neurobiology. There are 3 ways you can do this. 1, you can influence the anatomy of your brain by switching off the parts that pull you out of focus and switching on the parts that drive your focus. 2, you can manipulate the chemical balance of your brain by dialing down the stress hormone cortisol, which fuels catastrophic thinking and pulls you out of the present moment. You can also trigger the release of neurotransmitters like dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin, anandamide, endorphins that all fuel motivation and focus. And 3, you can slow down your brainwave frequency from a beta state where your thoughts are scattered and distracted to an alpha theta state where you become absorbed in the present moment and enter a creative flow. And this is what your toolbox is designed for, right? All these habits and systems and strategies that you're using are scientifically proven to work. And the reason you're having limited success with them is because your brain is already overloaded. But once you've reduced your cognitive load, these focus triggers will enable you to unlock deep flow states on demand. Now, the key is to identify which triggers work best for the way that you are individually wired. Take exercise, for example. For some, joining a gym is the perfect solution. But for me, I experience sensory overload and claustrophobia when I'm in a gym. The bright lights, the clanking iron, the constant chatter, it does not work with my system. Now, I used to beat myself up for skipping workouts, but now I realize that I was setting myself up for failure because no amount of discipline or willpower will override a system that works against your true nature. I run through the hills, I surf in the ocean, and I do calisthenics on the floor in my lounge room. These are examples of triggers that work with the way that I am wired, and they integrate seamlessly into my life. Now, when you take these 2 steps to remove your focus blockers, you realize that focus isn't something you need to force. And it certainly isn't something that requires great discipline or willpower either. You realize that focus feels good, and that you actually crave to be absorbed in the present moment and working on things that really matter. And once you are no longer blocked from focus, you will start moving towards your goals so much faster. You will shift from being stressed, overwhelmed, reactive, and unable to switch off to a state of calm and grounded focus, where problem solving and creativity flows, where productivity skyrockets, where scaling feels easier than ever, and where your work becomes deeply fulfilling and enjoyable. Now, if you're unsure what's blocking your focus or want help removing your blockers, send me a message or book a call and we can figure it out together.